welcome to DISCERN. I'm Courtney, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm joined by Nick Pitts. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Courtney, so great to be here.
All this week, we've been talking about digital things, and today we are talking about remote/online life, work from home. We've got an article here, a news story from the Economic Times, reporting that with the COVID-19 pandemic bringing unprecedented changes in work life, a study has revealed that 82% of respondents admitted that they prefer working from home to going back to the office. The remote work trend was initially forced on employees due to the pandemic. However, after 2 years, remote working has become a new normal, and as things settled down, new habits have formed. The study further revealed that 64% of employees said they are more productive working from home and feel less stressed. So we've got a lot of statistics here, Nick. And on the last episode, we talked about trade-offs. We're pretty deep into this pandemic, 2 years, people working from home. There's also a downside to every upside. But what do you think some lasting effects or perhaps some consequences are from this dramatic shift in the way that people work?
Yeah, again, a great point in that this is similar to a sheet of paper. There's two sides to this particular issue at the very least. And so on one side, what we're continuing to see is that individuals not only prefer this, but also individuals are increasingly utilizing this in such a way that they can give back to their workplace and their job. There was one study that was put out that indicated that the average American worker that was working remotely is saving around an hour a day when it comes to commuting and getting ready every day for work instead of spending that time on the road. And what they're doing is they're giving it back as well to their office. So the average worker is working 2.5 hours more per work week for their employer. We know that morale typically has been up and it's favorable to work remotely, but we also know there's downsides to this. There was one study that linked some of the overdoses. We're reaching record high overdoses here in the U.S. right now, and there are some studies that are tying that back to remote work, the lack of accountability and the interactions that you can have in the office. And then just from a work standpoint, there's a reason why companies are willing to invest in office spaces, because they believe it to be true that the collaboration that comes when individuals are rubbing shoulders and going around and talking at the water cooler, it creates camaraderie and that creative destruction with those great ideas that are necessary to continue to innovate in the field. They're losing that by being in a remote work setting. So you're seeing both sides of the issue. But where I would really draw close to, especially as a Christian, is this understanding that I think my workplace is a mission field. It's an opportunity for me to love God and then to work my heart out for Him, and in turn benefit my company as well as my coworkers. It's really difficult in a remote work setting to have those opportunities because there's no lingering, getting to the meeting beforehand or lingering afterwards. It's pretty cut and dry. And so you're missing out on that opportunity to interact with the vast majority of Americans who aren't sitting beside you in a pew on Sunday morning to hear about the reason why they can rejoice in the work that they've been given and the skills they get to utilize.
I mean, it's just a reminder. I feel like in every one of these conversations, we keep revisiting the importance of community and the importance of presence and caring for one another. I can't know what's going on in your life if I don't get that lingering time, and if there's never an opportunity for me to ask you, hey, what's going on? Or how are you? Or how can I help you? And so,
Nick, there's a piece of it, right? And so it naturally presents itself, like you said, when there's the lingering time that comes when in between tasks, or as you make your way leaving a meeting and you're walking back to offices that are in the same vicinity, and it naturally leads to conversations. A lot of that doesn't happen. But I'd also probably for many of our listeners can probably also attest to the fact that there's candor that comes when individuals, especially those that are hurting, can be able to share some pretty intimate details of conversation over a keyboard and in a chat function that they might not feel comfortable sharing face to face. Again, I think that there are pluses and minuses to where we're at right now. Obviously, I think workers are largely enjoying some of this remote work benefits, but it also requires an intentionality for those that are recognizing that I'm not just going to job to fulfill my responsibilities and my roles. I'm also going to work in order that I might be a bright light.
It's a really good word, Nick, and it's just I know that I enjoy the benefit of working from home, and it's just a good reminder with all of these things to push ourselves out of our comfort zone and to remember that that there's a human on the other side of the screen and on the other side of that email, and to care for one another and to reach out and check in on each other, honestly, as we do our work.
If I could leave anyone with one challenging word, it would be this. One of the consistent things that we see in the biblical narrative is we see a Jesus that is fully present in the moment. He was fully present enough to feel the tug on the hem of his robe. He was fully present enough to see Zacchaeus that was up in the tree. Both of those individuals were in desperate need of interaction. And for those that are remote working, it's important for us to be fully present in the moment, and not only be fully present in the digital moments that we find ourselves in working remotely, but also be intentional enough to go into those conversations and those meetings with an eye to see and ear to hear how we might be a bright light and a fragrant aroma for his name.
Thank you, Nick. It's also a reminder for those who do get to work in person to be fully present there as well. So thank you, Nick, for that encouragement, and we'll see you next time on Discern.